Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Good to have you here with us. All right, it is 4 o'clock on the dot.
Hello. Welcome to a day in the life of the asset manager. We're excited that you're here. It has been a day, just to say the least. A Monday. It's supposed to be a holiday. Supposed to have the day off. I don't know about you guys, but I did not have the day off. Nope. No, we didn't. So, we're going to talk about something a little bit different today. You want to kick us off, Tyler?
Yeah, we figured we kind of have jumped in the middle of a lot of our content of, kind of what we know, what we teach, things like that. And so we figured it might be a good time to start from the beginning and go back to basics a little bit to figure out, what is this all about? How do you go about all this stuff, and where do you fit in as a puzzle piece to all of that? So that's kind of where we're going with it. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to put a poll on the Zoom link, and we're just curious kind of where everybody is on their journey. So you should have a poll now. It should be in there. So we just want to know kind of what your involvement level is or has been, and kind of where you want to see it go. So right now we have 3 underwriters and 1 in acquisition, 4 underwriters and 1 in acquisition. Okay.
Investor relations.
Yeah, so that's just about everybody there. So we have 4 underwriters, 1 in investor relations, 1 in acquisitions. So most of you guys are doing what I do. That's always fun. Perfect. So yeah, we kind of wanted just to get a pulse on where you're currently at, and then we have a couple of things that we wanted to talk about, and we'll just go from there. So Cindy, kick us off.
Well, thank you so much for answering. I am Cindy, and I'm the asset manager. So that's my passion. And so what we wanted to talk about today were just some different roles that are possibilities in multifamily, and maybe spend 3 or 4 minutes kind of giving a description of that. No one answered, I don't know, and that's okay. But I thought if we talk about these, you might change what you want to do. So we're just going to take 3, 4 minutes, talk about each one. And then if you have any questions, we can answer it and just kind of give you some feedback on it. So the first one was, I'm going to start actually with the first one is acquisitions. So acquisitions is the person that actually talks to the broker. So they are the ones that are on LoopNet, they're on Crexi, they are meeting brokers. I know a couple who live in California, who live in Napa Valley, and they wanted to own some properties in Texas. And they had outlined 2 different cities that they wanted to be in those 2 cities. And they literally loaded up their minivan with bottles of wine, and they drove from Napa Valley to Texas to these 2 cities and made appointments. They stayed in a hotel. They were actually gone about a month. Just stayed in 2 weeks in a hotel in one city, 2 weeks in a hotel in another city. And all they did was meet with brokers and just get to know them. Of course, they looked at properties while they were there. They did end up actually buying a couple of properties. I don't remember which city they bought it in, but I do know that that was a very successful trip. And I thought, what a smart idea if you're in acquisitions that's kind of a signature. Because now those brokers remember them, they bought them a bottle of wine that they came all the way from California. So if you're in acquisitions, you want to kind of think about that. How are you going to build those relationships with your brokers? One of the things that we like to do where we live, we have a chocolate factory. And so we like to send chocolates. So, they're, from this local chocolate factory, and it's been owned for, I don't even know, I'm not going to say 100 years because that's probably too many, but I know like at least 3 generations. So how many ever years that is, that could be 100. Anyway, it's a local establishment in the town. And so we like to send chocolates to our brokers. We've also sent them to our investors. We just sent a big basket to a property management company that's been helping us out. Kind of went above and beyond. So that's our signatures. We just send these big back of chocolates. So acquisitions, year one, talking with brokers. And the reason that you want to talk with them, you want to always give them feedback. So if they send you a property and it's not what you need to call them back and talk with them. And don't say that property didn't work. Be very, very specific, because what happens is the more that you hone in on what you're looking for, that allows them to hone in on what you're looking for. So then they know when they see something, if they see something that's 130 units, they're going to think of us. That's what we want. That's our buy box. So you want to be at the forefront of their mind. Brokerages meet every week. They talk about what properties they have. And so if you're calling that broker and you are getting to know them and you're giving them good feedback, it doesn't have to be positive feedback. And when I say that, I'm not saying you don't have to be negative towards them, but you can just say, this property is too old. We're not going to buy a property this old. That way they're not wasting your time. And if they see something, they'll know that it's too old. You just want to kind of build your box with them. So the more you're able to tell them why a property didn't work, that's going to really, really help with the broker to be able to know what you need. And we did our very first property. They were sending us like stuff that we didn't like. And one of my partners called the broker up and said, "Stop sending me crap. You're sending me the stuff that no one's going to buy. I'm not going to buy it. And, this is your last chance. You send us something that is worth something, then we'll continue to have this relationship." And it worked. They sent us a deal and it was a unicorn. We bought it. We've had it. We're going on our 5th year of owning this. And it's a beautiful performing property. We've paid distributions every year, met our pref, just amazing. So it's okay. But if you don't call them back and give them that feedback, they don't know. Now, acquisitions, that's what you're doing, right? But if you're the underwriter, you're the one that's going to want all the documents. You're going to want the OM. You're going to want the T12. You're going to want the rent roll. You're going to want anything they have about the property, the history of it. So you're going to have to work hand in hand with your team member that's acquisitions, because how is the acquisition person going to know what to say to the broker if you're not talking with them? So you've got to have really good communication there. And you're going to want to say, hey, this works for this reason and it doesn't work for this reason. And so you're going to want to do that. You're going to want to talk with acquisitions. That's what the underwriter does. And what they do is they develop the business plan. They're going to come up with, this is what's going to work. This is something that is going to make money for our investors. There are 2 reasons why we do what we do. When I say we, I'm talking about high caliber multifamily. One is we definitely believe in complex to community. We believe everyone deserves to have a beautiful place to live, no matter what their income level is. And number 2 is it is a business. It is a business where we want to make money for our investors. So we feel like we have a responsibility to the residents and a responsibility to the investors. So for those 2 reasons is why we buy something. And our business plan fulfills those 2 things. If it doesn't, then we don't do it. So you have to decide as your team, what is your, they always say, what is your why? What is your why? Well, I mean, everyone has different whys, but we're very specific in what our why is. And so we want to make sure we can accomplish those two things. So underwriters, you create the business plan. You need to talk with acquisition so they can talk with the broker. Underwriters now need to talk to asset manager, because what happens is the asset manager has to be able to underwrite the program, look at, this is what the business plan is, and can we fulfill it? Can we fulfill this plan? I have been sent lots of deals to look at, and when I look at it, we can't fulfill it. And it's for a multitude of reasons. It's not always just money, although we do have a responsibility to our investors, so we want to make sure we can make money. Sometimes it's where it's located. We cannot change the demographics of where the property is located, which means that we're not going to be able to take that and shape it from a complex to a community. So you have to look at all of these different variables. And the asset manager, we're going to talk to the chamber. We're going to find out what businesses are coming in, what is the economic situation, how are we going to fill the community, how are we going to, where are people going to work, are there new jobs coming in? So all of this is getting filtered. I would really strongly encourage you to follow your chain of command, meaning asset manager talks with asset manager talks to underwriter talks to acquisitions. Because if you think about it, if I jump over and I call the broker, so I've now jumped over the underwriter and the acquisition, and I'm talking to the broker, you're going to have way too many cooks in the kitchen. And a confused mind says no. And so we don't want that. We want to be very clear and concise, especially when we're dealing with the broker, because that's a negotiation. And we don't want to have all of these different people talking and all these different scenarios. So I really respect the chain of command, and that I would encourage you to do that. So that's why it's important on your team to know who's doing what. Now, that doesn't mean that you always do that. You might do underwriting for a while, and you might figure out, hey, I am really good at negotiating, and I want to work on acquisitions. And you can make that change within your team, and we've done that. We've had different leads where we've had a lead that's the acquisition on this property, or a lead underwriter on this property. So, and it's good to know how to do all those different. If you have the opportunity to learn the different roles, you do want to learn those. And then you have investor relations. So investor relations, those are the ones that are going out and talking to investors. Hey, we have this deal. This is what we can bring to the table. Does it fit your needs? What are you looking for? How are you looking to invest? Because remember, we want to help them with their investments. If they are trying to move out of the stock market and into real estate, we want to give them that pathway. We want to show them how this can work. And so some people want to get into real estate and they don't know how. They've never, they know that's a good way, but they don't really know how to do it. And they think in their mind, I don't have $1 million and I can't do it. And we all know that's not true, that you can do that. You can do it with a lot smaller amount. We pool everyone's funds. And so we become co-owners. So together we purchase this. So it's something that everyone should actually be working with investor relations. It's good to have a lead, but everyone should do that because it's what you do. You want to talk with people about what you do. And the more you talk about it, the more comfortable you are with it, which means that you're going to want to look at the underwriting because you're going to want to understand it. You're going to want to know the questions that the broker is asking. You're going to talk with acquisitions. That's why you have team meetings. We have a meeting every week. Every week we have a team meeting. So it's just important to do that so that you're cohesive in what you're presenting. The other thing is a sponsor. So that would be something that might be further down the road, but a sponsor is someone who is willing to work with you and help you and mentor you so that you know how to do this. We have a roles and responsibility chart. I'm just going to toot our horn for just a minute. We have roles and responsibility. Every step that has to be done, start to finish. And we know on our team, on each property, who is the lead on that. And then when we partner up with people, we have them look through that list. We literally send them the list and say, put your initials of what you're going to do and who on your team is going to do what. So then we know who to always contact. If we're going to meet with the SEC attorney, there's someone on your team that wants to be part of that. They need to be on that call. They need to hear what's being said. If the only one that we don't really double up on that is the broker. And we know why we don't do that, right? We don't want too many cooks in there. We don't want the broker to feel he can go to another person. We just have one person that they deal with. So, and then the other slot that we had on there was investor. You can be an investor. You don't have to have your own property to invest. I know on the last property that we closed on, we had some people that came in at $20,000. They had it in an IRA and they wanted just to take that IRA and move it out and put it into the property. And so there is a way to do that, even if it's a traditional. They moved it over to a self-directed and then they put it into the property. So they use their IRA. And normally what we do, we have a minimum investment that's $50,000. That's just kind of the bottom line. That's a industry standard is 50,000. But if you don't have 50,000, don't be afraid to talk to someone, because that's what happened with me. I called a guy and said, I knew he was looking to invest. And I'm like, hey, I have this property. And he said, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been starting my own business. I only have 20,000 and it's in my IRA, but I want to invest it. So I went to my team, said, I vouch for this guy. I know this guy. I know him really well. You know, he wants to invest. He only has 20,000. Are we okay with that? And we have it written in the PPM, which is the property placement memorandum, which kind of outlines everything. In there, it says that we have the right to decide if we want to accept an amount different than the minimum amount. So that's just one of the things that you want to remember. So I just have a question now. Now that we've talked about these different roles, have any of you changed your mind? Or have any of you thought, we're going to put the poll back up, it's anonymous? Or are you going to stick with what you got? I'm just curious. Unfortunately, you can only answer one, but if it's something that maybe you want to learn more about, I would highly encourage you to do that, because there is a lot of information out there and there is a lot to be learned. So
I also think in order to be proficient in a lot of these, you have to have some kind of knowledge base of another. And so oftentimes, like I do underwriting and acquisitions, but I also have done asset management, and we're moving more into the investor relations space. And like as we grow and become proficient in different roles, we also seek out more roles to understand them a little bit better. So, well,
yeah,
now we have 2 underwriters, 2 asset managers, and 2 acquisitions. So a little bit different, of a mindset.
well, thank you for that. That's what we wanted to know. Now we have a few more minutes. Does anyone have any questions about anything in specific that we didn't cover that maybe you have a question on? And then we have an announcement that we're going to do. Audra, go ahead.
Hey, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Nice. So thanks for doing this. I think it's such great information and it seems like you cover a lot of different details. So, you were reviewing the asset manager role and I think you clarified for me, which I didn't know this before, but I understood the asset manager role to be after maybe the deal was secured, but it sounds like you're doing it more at the due diligence stage. Is that correct?
Correct. So
Okay.
we
Even farther back,
basically,
the underwriting stage
yeah.
is where you want
So
to get
we
your asset
talk.
manager involved.
So
Oh,
I talk with, because I'm the asset manager, Tyler's the underwriter. So I talk with Tyler while he's underwriting, and he'll be telling me about a property. So then I'll be looking at the chamber. I'll look to see what jobs are coming in, what's the economic, what's the median household. So I'll start doing all that research while he's underwriting because he's got hard numbers. He's got what is the rent, what are the expenses. So I start kind of doing some back research. Then once we're under contract, then I watch the T12 and the rent roll while we're under contract because we do it and it's at a certain level and I want to make sure that it stays at the same level. So we just got a T12. I got to tell you, I had a little bit of a heart attack because they've been making money. We're under contract. We're buying this property, and this month they lost a lot of money. And so I'm like, what in the world? And so I started looking, and what they did is they paid their property tax in one payment. So a lot of people have their property tax escrowed as part of their debt service, and so it comes out every month. But this particular property, for whatever reason, they make a one lump sum payment over $100,000. So you can imagine my negative for 1 month. Oh my gosh, I was like, what's going on? What's going on with the property? Kind of freaked out, but I was like, oh, okay, it's fine. It was just property taxes. So I watched that all the way through the close. And then once we close, then we kind of take over as the asset managers at that point. So then we're working with the property managers. And now Tyler has gone on to another property. He's doing more talking. He does acquisitions and underwriting. Him and another guy, they kind of trade off and do it together. And so they're off doing their thing. And then Lorik, who works in asset management, so that him and I then kick in. And that's what we do on a daily basis. We do asset management daily. That's on properties that we already own. So.
okay. Okay, so do you have a property manager and then that's not their responsibility of overseeing like the rents and everything, or am I confusing those two?
Yes, so we're above the property manager. We hire the property manager and they answer to us. So that's who we meet with. So I get reports every Monday for all my properties. I get about 7 reports for each property. And then Lorik and I go through those reports, decipher them. We look at where are we with occupancy, with collections. Right now it's the middle of the month. So what do you think my focus would be on?
The
Anyone?
middle of the, oh yeah, let me guess.
Late rents.
Exactly. My delinquencies, because they're past the 15th. So we're past the 3-day notice. Are they going to skip? Are they going to do a notice to vacate? So the first of the month, we're kind of just looking in general, who's moving in, who's moving out, kind of what's the flow. But when we get about the 15th, man, I'm locking down. What are we doing? How much do we have in delinquent? Where is this property at on this? So now the next 2 weeks will be focused on getting collections and making sure that we don't have to do evictions. We don't want to evict people. So we have different options that we offer to try and kind of avoid that. But then sometimes there's no choice. It is what it is. But we want to let
Eugene,
you guys know how we're going to keep moving. We've been doing this, if you can believe it, for 2 years. So every Monday, 4 o'clock for the last 2 years, it's been on Facebook on my personal page, and then I share it to other pages That's where some of you have found it. But what we're doing, and because I am not a technical person and I should never ever be in charge of technology. So, and any of you that have been on calls, Anthony, Eugene, know some of those reasons why. So I'm going to let Tyler explain to you what is going to happen the first Monday of March.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
the first Monday of March, which is the 3rd of March, we are no longer going to be broadcasting on Facebook. Everything that we're going to do, this link will still be live. If you want to attend these, you can. That's what the link is for. So go on, sign up, make sure that you get registered for these. And then we're also going to still record them, but they're going to be published to our website instead of being published on Facebook. And so that's just a decision that we made as the company to try and grow our business. And instead of trying to do it on Facebook, we're going to try and do it through other means. And so that's just one of the things that we've decided on. So we're really excited about the move. We're excited about, where this is going. And we'd love to have you guys join every single week. And even the people that aren't here, we're hoping that they join too and that we get more people registered for it. With that being said, we do have Eugene that posted a question in our chat, and he said, can the team actually do asset management responsibilities, all of them, or does it just have to be one person? And that's a very interesting question. So I'm going to field a little bit of it, and then I'm going to turn it over to the actual asset manager side. But the answer is yes, yes, and yes, and all the things, right? So like, even when we take over a property as asset managers, a lot of the times Cindy will actually take one or two people that volunteer on the asset management team. People that want to learn more about asset management, how to do it, kind of the ebbs and flows of it. So we usually do it more of a team style just to begin with, but it can absolutely be one person or it can be multiples. So Cindy, do you have anything else you want to cover with that?
That I still am to the one voice with the PM. So I do have asset management teams on all my properties. So we are a team. We do research, we do the newsletter, those things. But when it comes to talking with the property manager, we have found that it's so much easier to have one person because then they get confused because they're like, who do I answer to? This person made this suggestion. Should I do that, or what? Who do I listen to? So you still need to have a lead. Now you may want to trade that out. You may want to have somebody be a lead for maybe a year, and then someone else, that's on your team that says, hey, I've been helping for the year and I want to do it. That would be a choice that you could make within your team. And then I saw Michelle had a question. What was your question, Michelle?
What kind of role does the underwriting have after the close of the property?
He cashes his acquisition fee.
I'm like, it's kind of varied, right? So it depends on where you are and what you're doing. I will say for us, right, like a lot of the times when you're working in the acquisition underwriting, you see it through all the way till close, but your job is not done at that point, right? Like you're always rebalancing what that underwriting looks like because you're working with the asset manager. And so you're like, hey, this was my vision as I was building this out. This is what I thought year one would look like, what year two would look like. What are the actuals coming out to? Or do we have a delta that we need to gap? And what does that look like? And how can we reach that? So you just get to kind of wash your hands and walk away as an underwriter or even in acquisitions. There's still more checks and balances that you have to do throughout the whole process. But the asset manager is hands-on every day working with that property, and I'm going over and I'm trying to find the next deal because the next deal has to happen for us to continue the cycle, right? Because you'll have properties come in and you'll have properties go out, and that's the cycle that you do. There's a 5 to 10 year hold time on every property. And so I think I was talking to Anthony about this actually when we were just doing one off, where it's
Yeah.
like a sponsor sometimes is really good to sponsor a deal right now, but they might have sold off some of their properties and they're no longer worth the same dollar amount. So they might not be able to sponsor the same deal later down the road. And so it kind of just depends on the ebb and flow of your own properties going through it. And so we're always looking for that next property to be able to go through and continue the cycle. So did that?
We do call on the underwriter. Like, for example, if we are getting ready and we've discovered like we need so many air conditioners, we're going to ask, what is that going to do? Where is it going to put us? Because they've helped us build out the CapEx, or our rents are now at this point. If we do, 20 more units where we're spending this amount of money, how long is it going to take us to get a return on that investment? So they're not in the day to day, but they're not off the hook. Did
Anthony,
you
you
have a
had your
question, Anthony?
More of a comment than a question. I know deleted for your meeting for a different reason, and it took me forever to find it. So where are you guys going to be posting the link for this meeting going forward? I think that might help you guys as well. So, we can spread the word and all that stuff if you're taking it off Facebook.
Yeah, this is on Facebook now, and I repost it, and it's on our website, and so I put it on there. I think Tyler dropped the website in the comments. And then also we do have our own Facebook page, the High Caliber Multifamily. And so we're going to be promoting to join the Zoom call. The other is we did send out emails. So you might have gotten an email inviting you to this. So we did send out emails. So if you got an email, you just want to click on that. You're registered. There's a little box you can click and it will actually put it in your calendar. So all you do is just go to your calendar, click on it, and it opens you up. So we have sent out emails as well.
Yep.
So, and then of course, if you guys can spread news, that would be good too, because we really want to be able to help people have a good understanding where they are, and then how we can help them, on a one-off, because our calendars are always there, and we can always make time to talk with us.
Yep.
So. Yeah, you can do it yourself, especially when you're first starting. I would say as you get more properties, the asset manager is going to be busier and busier, because right now my Tuesday and Wednesday is booked back-to-back meetings. I do not get lunch until 3 o'clock because I'm meeting with all my properties. So in the very beginning, absolutely you could do, but as your business grows, you're gonna want to have that specific, or you won't be able to give the attention that it needs, especially, because there are lots of forms that we do. We do the distributions. We have to connect with the lender every quarter to send them. Because remember, the lender is your largest investor. They're the ones that put millions in. So every quarter they want the rent roll, they want the T12. If it's not performing, you got to tell them why. So I think in the beginning you're okay doing it, but I would definitely, as you grow, kind of know that you're going to have to separate that out. Unmute,
Congratulations.
unmute yourself. Tell us just a minute.
Thank you.
So where's it located?
In Georgia, Macon,
Nice.
Georgia.
It is a
Yes.
very good
Thank
market.
you. Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Let us know how we can help you.
Of course.
Yes. All right. All right. It was great to see you guys. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you.